Hey everyone, it is Wednesday and I am running so far behind. I had a bunch of errands to take care of this morning, so we are just getting to this. Apologies. So it's going to be up late. It'll be today, but it'll be up late. I do not have a ton of stuff to share, unfortunately. I feel like I have been busy, but I don't have a whole lot to share here. I'm kind of bummed about that because I wanted to sign up for a market that is in February. And I had to double check all my dates to make sure I don't double book. And, well, don't you know that I got a little mixed up on when certain things fell? Like, not this weekend, not Thanksgiving weekend, but the following weekend, I will be at my really busy market. And then I thought I had a week before my regular one that I've been doing all year. And then the next morning was supposed to be at the Pioneer Museum. Well, I was wrong. It is the first Friday and then the next morning on Saturday at the Pioneer Museum. So I will not have any recovery time if I blow out of all my small items again. So I'm kind of bummed about that. I thought I had more time. So yeah, there is that. So I need to get busy. But I have been working on my big order that I have. So I got a few things made for that. And I'm down to 3 items left on that order. So one of them, I'm remaking the dog in the bag because Sarah wants the smaller one. And the other would be the bunny and then gummy worm. But I believe I have everything else on the list made. So, where do we begin? I don't know. I think I made the dog bed during a live. I think. I am not sure. Maybe it wasn't this one. I don't know. But anyways, we have the dog bed and a dog to go in it. And this one is, I forget which dog it is, but I didn't use the colors that it said to use. I just did my own little thing on it. And oh gosh, this is yeah, it'll be linked. I can't even pronounce the shop name, but I really like this pattern. A lot of people are saying that they're having problems, like the dogs aren't fitting in the bed. Mine fits perfect in the bed. Some people are saying they're having trouble with the dog part itself. I'm doing okay with it. I like it. I just know that I cannot crochet and do a live at the same time. When I'm talking and reading and trying to crochet, I make too many mistakes and it takes me way too long to get a bed made. But yeah, so we have this one, and this is not part of that special order. Then in the next live, I think I did that bed on Saturday, maybe. I don't know. I'm lost. Because like, I was live Saturday, did my regular video Sunday, then live with Heather Monday. And Monday night, I was trying to make a little mini loaf cat, and I kept messing up. Yep. And then I was going to do the embroidered eyes on it, which I do not like. I'm going to completely redo the whole face on this. This is a free pattern on Instagram. Yeah, the face I don't like. I've done the eyes like 4 times. I do not like them. I'm going to just give it like sleepy eyes and be done with it. So that will all be pulled out and redone. I think I'm going to take the sand color and do the nose in sand because the pink just doesn't look right. And yeah, the eyes just don't look right. They did not come out good on this. Nope, did not. Don't like it. do not. So this is, I did this out of Brights in sand and chocolate, I believe are the two colors, trying to make it look like a Siamese cat. And yeah, 6mm hook. But yeah, one loaf cat that I'm going to change the eyes on, and that's going to go in the safer section for babies. So once those were done, that's when I decided I need to change up and work on those items for Sarah's order. So she wanted 2 Pickle keychains, Mr. and Mrs. Pickle. So we have the 2 Pickle keychains. This is just, it is free-handed. You go from 6 to 12. I do 10 rows of 12, and then the decrease, random bobbles, and put the eyes where you think they look good. And I used, I believe those are 10mm eyes on these because of the size. But we have the two Pickle keychains. That is for Sarah's order. And then she wanted a splooting dragon. So I was trying to choose colors, and I had just gotten in the new green Chartreuse from Premier, and it comes in plush and parfait. And by the way, if you did not know, 20% off everything at Premier right now. All their yarns, 20% off of everything. But I will warn you, if you are a Brights fan or a plush fan, there are a lot of out of stocks. But you can pick up a good deal right now. I mean, still, it's what, $75? You get free shipping and then 20% off on all of it. I went over and I ordered a few things. They still did not have all the colors that I needed, but I did place an order for a few items. But anyways, I had already gotten in the new Chartreuse and I wanted to use it. And so we decided to do Sarah's Darth the Dragon, the splooting dragon, with Chartreuse. I think this turned out just fabulous. I love this little dragon. Now, he is more work than most of the other splooters are because there's a lot of pieces. You have to make the ears and sew them on. You have to make the horns and sew them on. You have to make the spikes and sew them on. The wings and sew them on. The tail and the arms and legs get crocheted in. You have to sew the head on. And you have to sew the tail ornament onto the tail. So there's a lot more work in this. But is it not just the cutest? And I gave him pink eyes, you know, because pink and green. This is Toffee, and this is the agave in the, I believe it's Home Slim. You do not need a full skein of yarn for this. I had enough left over of this, the Chartreuse, to start on Figgy. And I was able to get all 4 legs and 3 sets of the toes done out of the same skein that Darth came out of. And then I got into another skein to do the head and the body. But, oh my God, look at these crazy eyes. And let me tell you something about these 2 patterns. Shannon at Snuggle Beans Crochet is running a killer sale right now. If you wanted just Figgy, it's like $2 and, hold on, I will tell you the exact amount, $2.74 US. Killer deal. Her 3 packs are like $5 and some change. So if you haven't gotten Shannon's patterns, now is the time to buy it. I think the sale runs through Sunday. These sell well. You need the deer. You need the frog. You need them all. You need need them all. And I mean, you can't ask for a better deal than they are right now. I mean, these are great patterns. All her patterns are on sale. Some of them are 40% off and some of them are 50% off. But it's a great, great deal. So we did Figgy in Chartreuse. Now, you are supposed to crochet a little round circle and sew it on, but I just embroidered his little cheeks. I was being lazy, just because I was being lazy, but it looks perfectly fine like that. And since frogs have the wide mouth, I decided to do the wide mouth. And then, of course, there's his crazy eyes. Technically, with the exception of sewing the head to the body, this can be a no-sew pattern. She gives you the option of sewing on the eyes or crocheting them in. I did not find it difficult to crochet them in. So there is that. The little toes are kind of optional, but you need the toes. Those are surface crocheted on. And I did put mine on before I attached everything, just because it's easier to handle than the whole thing just flopping around. But if it was something that you decided afterwards, it is still just as easy to sew them on or surface crochet them on once everything is assembled. So we have a Chartreuse frog and Darth the dragon. He was very cool, but he was a lot of work. And they're cousins because they're the same shade of green. And it is a very pretty shade of green. Oh. And when I went over to check out Parfait Chunky's sale, of course, they're out of, in the plush, and brights, they're out of the browns that I need. But on plush, they have added a couple of more new colors. They did Chartreuse, and now there is a darker green. I cannot remember the name of it. And then they've added teddy bears. So there is another brown option in the plush. Just saying. Just saying. So, we've just about gone through everything, and it's only been a few minutes here. I told you, I don't have a whole lot because I was, working on that order for Sarah. And then I had book buddies just in my brain, book buddies. I want to work on some book buddies. So you guys gave me a ton of great suggestions. So I was going back through all the comments and looking, and Corduroy came up quite a few times. And I'm like, okay, I have some bear patterns. So I pulled up the bear patterns that I have. And one of them is Crochet Grove. And it's a very cute bear pattern, but the head and face shape wasn't quite right to go with the book character. Then the other bear pattern that I have is another Snuggle Beans crochet pattern, and it is Barry the Bear. So, and I'm like, the head is perfect. That is the perfect shape for corduroy. So my thought was I could make that head and put it on the Crochet Grove body. And then I made the head and saw how tiny it was because I used Parfait Chunky because I was experimenting. It was very small. And I'm like, this is not going to work on Crochet Grove's body. And then I thought, well, what about putting it on one of Stacy Make's Fancy Pants patterns? And no, because if I make the body out of Parfait Chunky, it will be way too small because the head was right about the right size for it if it was made out of brights. So I ended up going back to just the full splooting pattern and making some modifications. Now I'll pop in a picture because at first I did it splooting. And then the more I looked at it, I didn't like how the straps for the overalls were because of the way the arms were attached for it to sploot. It would like come over in between his neck and not quite look right. So I cut his head off at the neck and, you know, like it didn't damage the head or anything. Frogged out a couple of rounds. Redid the neck area, and I sewed the arms on facing using the same arms. It's just I put it together different. So this is using Shannon's Splooting Bear pattern, and this would be Corduroy for a book buddy. Now it is very small because it is out of Parfait Chunky or Parfait Skinny. The browns are very thin and stiff. This one is apricot, I believe, and I used Goblin for the overalls. So instead of the arms facing, like going horizontal and being crocheted in at the front, like Biggie is, look at the size difference between the Parfait Chunky and the Plush. Amazing. But instead of doing that, I sewed the arms on going vertically. But it's the same arms. Same legs. He can sit. He will just sit. Same tail. Same head. Everything's the same. Other than I added the bib in the overalls, of course, but I stuffed it nice and firm so it would sit up. And I think I did an extra round before, you know, I did enough rounds so that the arms would fit to the brown part, if that makes any sense. I did not take notes, but I am 100% sure I can recreate this just by having my parts ready and sitting there so that I can measure as I go. But I think that he turned out absolutely adorable, but I do need to go and add a little smile because the picture that I saw of Corduroy, he has a big old cheesy smile. And I used 16mm brown eyes. Those are the moon eyes, not the glitter. I think they're so cool. But he turned out absolutely adorable. So that gives me the Cookie Mouse, the Llama Llama Red Pajama, and Corduroy. So I did put a lot of time into this because I was having to make changes as I went. So I had to like think about what I was doing. I think he looks really cute. And I was looking at other bear patterns, and I'm like, I want to use the patterns that I already have and see if I can do it with those. Now, I am not opposed to buying another pattern if need be. I am not at all, but I wanted to see if I can do it. And Shannon's, I'm just realizing I did 3 of her patterns in the last few days. Shannon's pattern was perfect for it with a few tweaks. But is he not just the cutest? Now, I probably should have tilted his head down just a little bit, but we'll know that for next time. Cute. Just cute. He is adorably cute, and Goblin was the perfect color for the overalls. So when I got to this round where the overalls are at, to do the little bib, I just did a back loop only because that's where I did my color change. Back loop only slip stitch, and then back loop only single crochet. And then I picked up the front loops here to add the bib and attach the straps to the bib. So this was a fun one. So then I'm looking again. My mind is still on like book buddies, and it should not be. It should be on other things with, now I know that. I didn't at the time, but with my market not being on the day that I thought it was going to be on, and I have the back to back. So there are some people suggested penguins, but they didn't like name a book. So I looked up books with penguins. And I did not want the typical, mini bird, egg-shaped penguin. I wanted one that had more shape to it. So I went over to Etsy and I bought a pattern that was on sale. From Crochet Crush Art. It's on sale. It's got 5 more days left in the sale. It's 75% off. And it was $2.11. But you know the saying, you get what you pay for? Well, I have reached out to this designer, this seller on Etsy, and asked them if they had the pattern tested. Because in the instructions, it says the color changes. The white parts will be... The white parts would be in bold and underlined. So I make the feet. And then the next step is to start on the body. And it is not bolded. It is not underlined. It's like, okay, which part is white and which part is black? I don't know. So when I reached out, I asked, were these patterns tested? They said yes. Am I having a problem? Well, yes. And I stated that to begin with in my question is, was it tested? Because the color changes, it's not, you can't tell what's what. They didn't do it, what they said they were going to do. So I went and bought another penguin pattern. And this one is cute, but I think I paid too much for it. I would definitely wait for this shop to run a sale. And I don't know if they are for Black Friday or not. They might be. Let me check and see if there's anything right now. No, it is still full price. But I paid $8 for this pattern because I wanted a different looking penguin. And because I'm testing it out, I decided to do Parfait Chunky. Parfait Skinny. Look at how small my penguin turned out. I don't want it this small. Now, it was fairly easy to figure out, with the exception of the feet, where it shows you to start with the join of the feet. It'll have one foot going forward and one foot facing backwards. So I had to think about that. So we did this one in Parfait Chunky. He looks more like a backpack buddy, so I will probably add the... what do you call it? The lobster clip thing, the ball chain and clip, and do it as like a backpack buddy because he is very small. So once I tested out the pattern and saw that I could actually read it and follow the directions, I got my brights out and I did make a tweak. Okay, so here he is in brights. Here he is in Parfait Chunky. Now, I added a white belly patch because the way the picture, the picture is what sells you when you look at a pattern. Usually, especially if it's a designer that you're not familiar with. And in the picture, it was done like the head was black and white and then the body was gray like a baby penguin. I didn't have any gray. I came out to get my gray, and I don't have any gray. How can I not have any gray? So you know what? Gray was one of the things that I ordered today, but it won't be here in time. I will not hold my breath. So I just made a belly patch, and I sewed the belly patch on. And I'm like, okay, he's cute. I did do some cleanup along the edges of the face. I do like the size. I wish I had some black and white and gray or something in Bernat that I could use and then get him even a little bit bigger. But like I said, there was like 6 popular penguin books for kids books. So I have to decide which penguin book will I use to make a sign with to show that it is a book buddy. So this was very cute. But again, for what the pattern is, I think it was very pricey. So if you want this pattern, wait for a sale. Palms and Posies US. It's very cute. I also think that because of the shape of this body, you could not stuff it and it could be a little mini lovey. So there's that too. I will probably try that and not stuff it and see how it looks. I think it could definitely be the little mini lovey. So I decided, let me make another one. Now, I also did this one out of Brights, and for some reason the head is smaller. It's just as tall, but my head came out smaller. But I did it in pink. And I will say the pink, cotton candy pink, and hibiscus and white, the pink seemed to be a lot thinner than the black was. So I think that is why the head looks smaller, but the bodies, this body actually looks fatter than this body, but that could be in my stuffing. I don't know. But I always use a 6mm hook with Brights. I just do. So I did these. And let me show you, because I forgot to hold up the can with Corduroy here. So he's fairly small. Now in Plush or Brights, he will come out to a good size. But I didn't have the proper browns or greens in Plush. And I didn't have the proper brown in Brights. I could probably use mustard and it might work. But in that, for the green, I would probably use sage green. And I think it would look really pretty. And you would get a bigger size out of it. But I like how this turned out. He turned out really cute. So, 3 items left for Sarah's order. I am going to get those taken care of. And then I'm going to work on more smalls, because my panic thought is for at Friday night, that one is going to sell probably a lot of the 15 and under items. And I need to have some left over for Saturday. So I'm going to work on some Pokemon and work on, I'll have to go back and watch one of my market videos. What do I have in my baskets? I need to make sure I have plenty of stuff to fill the baskets. Like the cats in the beds, I'll need some more of those. I'm going to need more dogs in the beds. I'll be working on those. So cats in beds, dogs in beds, Pokemon. I want some more penguin. Not only because it's a book buddy, but because it being Christmas time, people tend to ask for penguins more. That's all I can do is just go from there. And I tomorrow's a bust. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the U.S. So happy Thanksgiving to all my U.S. friends. Yeah, because I'll have to cook. I might be able to get a couple of small things done, because when the family comes over, it's just going to be Jenna and her fiance. But when they come over, I'm going to want to visit with them. maybe play a few games afterwards, and so I won't get a lot done tomorrow. But I'm like really going to have to like crack the whip on myself for these smaller items. Fortunately, they don't take that long. I just need to be mindful of the hands. Speaking of hands, I have given myself a callus on my pinky that is very sore. Well, it's not as sore today as it was yesterday because I can touch it. Yesterday, to touch it, it hurt like heck. And that is from the way I hold my crochet hook. Because I'm like this, and like the side of my pinky just rubs against it. And yeah, I've done it to myself. So that is what I have. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that needs new eyes, 10. 10 items. 2 of them, which, well, Darth took a long time. And Corduroy took me a while because I had to think about where my color changes and stuff were going to land. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it, you guys. I am sticking to it. So I am going to get off here, get this edited, get it uploaded. Hopefully I told you who everything was by. I hope. I had Shannon, Palms and Posies, or, you know, Snuggle Beans Crochet Shannon, Palms and Posy. The one I can't pronounce with the dog in the bed, Bitvorsky something or other. And this is a free pattern off of Instagram, and the pickles are just free-handed. They're easy. It's just like making an arm with a few bobbles here and there. So, yeah, I need to go and get to work. And I will see you guys after Thanksgiving with another Makes video. So, everybody enjoy and don't eat too much. And stay away from all those pies. But, yeah, enjoy the rest of the food.